The stars above the colony of Virelia were quiet. No ships moved in orbit. No messages came from the stars. The people on the ground, farmers, engineers, families, waited for help, but no one arrived. Virelia was a small outpost on the edge of the galaxy. It was built by refugees from many alien races. They had escaped war, slavery, or destruction. They came here to build a new life, peaceful and free. And for many years it worked. Then came the Varkal Dominion. Their ships entered orbit without warning. Black metal monsters filled with warriors and drones. The sky cracked with thunder as they dropped from orbit. Buildings were burned, power stations were taken, and many colonists were captured. The Varkal were not just cruel, they were proud of it. Elder Torvin, one of the leaders, stood outside a broken comms tower. His long, scaled fingers trembled as he sent another distress call. To any listening, we are under attack. This is Virelia Outpost, civilians wounded, we need help. Please, someone respond. He waited. The screen only blinked red. Nothing. Around him, others whispered the truth they didn't want to believe. The council won't come. They're afraid of the Varkal. Another said, no one dares face them anymore. We're already forgotten. Some wept quietly. Others gathered weapons, even if they were useless against Varkal tech. One child, hiding behind debris, asked her mother, will anyone come? Her mother had no answer. Far away, light years from Virelia, on a blue and green planet called Earth, a forgotten radar station blinked to life. Deep underground, a man named Captain Mason Riker sat alone, sipping coffee in front of old communication screens. He was part of Earth's old defense program, now mostly watching stars for patterns. But this signal was different. It wasn't coded like the others. It was raw. It was desperate. He turned up the volume. The alien voice was shaky but clear. Please, and to any listening, we are under attack. Riker's hand froze. He ran a trace and confirmed the source. The signal was real and recent. Without waiting for orders, he forwarded the message to Command Central, a hidden human fleet, base orbiting Saturn. Most thought Earth had retired its military after the last Galactic War, but that was only half true. In truth, Earth had simply gone silent, and now, that silence was broken. Inside the Earth Defense Council room, leaders reviewed the transmission. Some hesitated. Some wanted to stay quiet, but Riker stood before them, calm but fierce. They called for help, he said, and no one else is answering. One general replied, Varkal Dominion is too powerful. Even the Galactic Council avoids them. Why should we get involved? Riker's voice didn't rise, but his words carried weight. Because we are human. Because when others run, we stand. And because one day, if we stay silent now, no one will answer when we call. There was silence, then a nod. Permission was granted. Project Thunderstrike was activated. Within hours, hidden hangars opened. Old but powerful ships built in secret after the last war were fueled and armed. Pilots and soldiers trained in silence took their places. This was not an army of politics. This was an army of purpose. Riker stood at the bridge of the lead, ship HSS Lionfall staring at the star map. Set course for Virelia, he ordered. His second-in-command, a young woman named Kira Voss, looked at him. We'll be outnumbered. We won't be outmatched. The fleet launched. Not with noise, but with resolve. Back on Virelia, the colonists were digging trenches. Elder Torvin's voice cracked as he addressed the people. We will not go quietly. We will not kneel. If this is our end, let it be proud. Some cheered, some cried, but all prepared. Children hid underground. The injured were moved to the caves. Those who could still fight held weapons in shaking hands. High above in the clouds, the Varkal commander stood inside his warship, laughing. They beg, he said. They cry, but no one comes. He raised a hand to order the final strike. Then, everything changed. A ripple tore through the sky. Not from the Varkal, from above them. Blue lightning cracked across the atmosphere as 3 human ships dropped from FTL, punching through orbit like falling stars. Their engines roared like thunder and their armor shined like iron giants. The ground shook. The Varkol scrambled. "Unknown vessels," one of them shouted. "New faction." "No," said the Varkol commander, eyes narrowing. "Humans." On the colony floor, the people stared up as giant dropships landed outside the city ruins. Hatches opened. Human soldiers stepped out in heavy armor, marked with the Earth insignia. Helmets, visors, exosuits. Each one looked like a walking tank. Behind them rolled drones, mobile shields, and aid carriers. One young alien girl stepped forward, her eyes wide with disbelief. Her voice was small. "Who are they?" A human soldier knelt beside her, removing his helmet with a warm smile. "We're from Earth," he said. "You called for help." Smoke still rose from the broken buildings of Viralia. The people had been bracing for death just hours ago. Now they stared in shock at the giant human soldiers who had landed from the sky. They looked like walking machines, strong, silent, and powerful. But when they removed their helmets, they were not cold or cruel. They smiled. They helped the injured. They handed out food and water, and they spoke with calm, clear voices. "We're here for you," one of them said. "You're not alone anymore." General Riker stood near the central plaza speaking with Elder Torvin. Around them, human engineers were repairing what they could. Defense towers were being built. Drones floated through the sky, scanning for more enemies. Torvin, still weak, looked at Riker with wide eyes. "Why? Why did you come when no one else did?" Riker replied without hesitation. "Because someone had to. Earth may have been quiet, but we never stopped watching. And we never forgot what it means to be human, or to be decent." Torvin nodded slowly. "You came like thunder. They thought no one would." Riker looked up at the sky. That was just the beginning. Far above the planet, hidden just beyond the moon's shadow, the rest of Thunderstrike fleet remained cloaked. Stealth ships observed the system carefully. One of them, the HSS Phantom, picked up enemy signals. "Commander," said the pilot, "a Varkol reinforcement fleet is on its way. Estimated arrival, 18 hours. The message was sent instantly to General Riker. On the colony, the humans got to work. They didn't waste time. They trained the colonists how to use basic weapons. They reinforced buildings into bunkers. Mobile shields were installed to protect civilians. Even the children were kept safe underground with care teams. Kira Voss, Riker's second-in-command, oversaw the logistics. She moved quickly, assigning soldiers, delivering supplies, and preparing fallback points. One colonist, a tall feathered alien named Velrin, watched with awe. "You're not afraid of the Varkol?" Kira looked him in the eye. "No, we've faced worse. Earth is still standing for a reason." Later that evening, as the twin moons of Viralia began to rise, Riker recorded a message. He stood before a camera and spoke firmly. "This is General Riker of Earth's Thunderstrike Division. To those watching, Viralia is under attack by the Varkol Dominion. But Earth has answered the call. We are here. We are defending this colony. And we are not leaving." He paused. "To the Varkol, you've ruled through fear. That ends now. Earth doesn't fear you. We don't run. We return fire." The broadcast was short, but within hours it spread, through pirate radio, old relay stations, and secret networks. The galaxy heard Earth's voice again. Inside the Galactic Council, representatives of many powerful races sat in silence as Riker's message replayed on a screen. Some looked shocked, others whispered to each other. The Varkol ambassador stood and laughed. "Empty words. The humans will fall like the rest. No one challenges the Dominion." But some of the council members looked unsure. There was a feeling, growing, something old, something forgotten. Hope. On Viralia, the night was quiet, but only on the surface. High above, the Varkol reinforcements approached. Their ships were larger, heavily armed. They did not come to fight. They came to destroy. In the command tent, Riker and Kira studied the tactical map. We can't beat them in open space, Kira said. Riker nodded. Then we won't. He pressed a button and brought up the terrain map of Virelia. We'll fight them here. On the ground, where we control the battlefield. Before dawn, the humans began preparing the final defenses. Mines were placed near landing zones. EMP charges were buried under the soil. Drones flew above, scouting the skies. The colonists worked alongside the soldiers. Even the injured offered to help carry supplies. We can't thank you enough, said a mother with her young child. Riker looked at her gently. Just stay safe. That's how you can help. As the first light touched the horizon, the sky changed color. Dozens of Varkal warships broke through the atmosphere. Their engines screamed. Their weapons glowed. Riker stood tall at the front line. His voice rang through the comms. Remember what we're fighting for. Not glory, not revenge. People, lives, peace. And we do not back down. Human tanks rolled into position. Snipers found their spots. Soldiers took cover, calm and ready. The enemy was coming fast, but this time they were expected. Just before the first enemy ship landed, Kira looked at Riker. Do we have enough firepower? Riker smiled faintly. We don't need enough. We just need to hit where it hurts. Then came the roar. The first Varkal ships broke through the low clouds, their black hulls glinting under the pale sunlight. Their landing pods splashed down with heavy thuds, kicking up dust and debris across the battered fields of Virelia. But they were not alone anymore. Waiting in the shadow of ruined buildings and forest edges were the human soldiers. Clad in heavy armor, they moved like shadows, silent but deadly. General Riker stood on a small hill watching as the enemy disembarked. His voice came calm and steady through the radios. Hold your positions. Focus fire on their command units. We take down their leadership, the rest will scatter. Kirava scanned the battlefield with binoculars from a nearby outpost. Their front line is strong, but their formations are loose. Their confidence is shaken. Nearby, a human sniper carefully aimed. One by one, the Varkal officers fell, their screams lost in the roar of battle. The Varkal soldiers, trained for cruelty and war, found themselves surprised. Their weapons were powerful, but the humans fought with a strange energy, precision, teamwork, and a determination they had never faced. Drones zipped through the air, firing pulses that disrupted enemy shields. Human tanks rolled forward, their heavy cannons crushing Varkal war machines. Medical teams raced through the battlefield, pulling wounded colonists and soldiers to safety. One Varkal commander screamed into his communicator, "Fall back, fall back. The humans are stronger than we expected." But the humans pressed on. In the heart of the colony, a young alien named Lena watched the battle unfold. She had lost her home, her family scattered or captured. But now, hope grew in her chest. She saw the humans not as monsters, but as saviors. One soldier knelt beside a wounded child and gently lifted her into his arms. "Don't worry," he said softly. "You're safe now." Lena's eyes filled with tears. They fight for us. They really care. The battle raged for hours. Varkal reinforcements arrived, but the humans adapted quickly. They used the terrain, setting traps and ambushes that tore into the enemy ranks. General Riker led a squad into the ruins of a communications tower, hoping to cut off the Varkal's ability to call for help. Inside, they found resistance. Heavily armed Varkal guards ready to die for their mission. The fight was brutal. Steel clashed against steel. Blaster shots echoed through the hallways. Riker moved with calm efficiency. His team covered every angle, pushing forward room by room. Finally, Riker reached the main console. "System override," he muttered. The tower went dark. Outside, the remaining Varkal troops found their comms cut. Panic spread quickly. "We're isolated," one growled. "They control the battlefield." Human forces used this confusion to their advantage. They pressed forward, breaking enemy lines, freeing prisoners. Colonists cheered as soldiers reached them, offering water, food, and shelter. The human presence was not just power, it was kindness. Back at the command tent, Kira studied incoming data. "Our losses are minimal," she said. "Varkal morale is dropping." Riker nodded. "Good. We need to keep pressure." This battle is just the start. Suddenly the screen flashed red. "Incoming message," said the comm officer. A Varkal officer's face appeared, battered but defiant. "You may have won this fight, human," he spat. "But the Dominion will crush you. This is only the beginning." Riker looked at the screen, calm but determined. "We will be ready." As the sun set on the blood-stained fields of Veralia, the humans gathered the survivors. Elder Torvin stepped forward and spoke to the crowd. "Today, we saw what we thought impossible. Earth's warriors fought for us. They brought thunder to the silence." Lena stood at his side, proud and hopeful. The colony was battered but alive. And now it had a name for the storm that saved it: humanity. The battle on Veralia was not over. As night deepened, the once calm sky now burned with the glow of distant stars and the flashes of war. The Varkal Dominion was far from defeated. Their reinforcements surged closer with heavy warships, determined to crush the human presence before it could grow. On the bridge of the HSS Lionfall, General Riker stood watching the holographic display of the incoming fleet. "Kira," he said, "they're coming faster than expected." She tightened her grip on the railing. "They want to finish this quickly, but they don't know what they face." Riker nodded grimly. "Prepare the fleet for battle. We'll strike before they reach the surface." Down on the ground, the colonists worked through the night. Humans and aliens side by side built barriers, strengthened defenses, and cared for the wounded. Velrin, the tall feathered alien, moved with purpose. "I have never seen such determination," he told Kira. "Your people do not give up." Kira smiled tiredly. "We don't have that luxury, but we fight for more than ourselves." Suddenly a low rumble shook the ground. Above, the sky lit up with a new storm. The Varkal reinforcements entered orbit with a terrible fury. Hundreds of ships bristling with weapons filled the darkness. The human fleet leapt into action. Ships surged forward with power and speed, their engines burning. Bright as thunder rolled across space. The space battle began. On the command deck of the HSS Lionfall, Riker gave orders. "Deploy EMP drones. Target their shields first. Kira, prepare the gravity disruptors. We hit them where it hurts." Explosions lit up the void. Varkal ships tried to hold their formation, but the humans had a secret weapon. Their technology was advanced, but more than that, their tactics were unpredictable. They moved like lightning, striking fast and pulling back before the enemy could respond. Back on Verelia's surface, human artillery roared. Giant cannons blasted enemy ships trying to land troops. Tanks rolled across the fields, shielding colonists and pushing back any ground attackers. Lena, now part of the resistance, watched the skies. "This is not just a fight for our home," she said quietly. "It is a fight for the whole galaxy." Her words spread among the colonists. Hope grew like a fire in the dark. Hours passed, and the space battle reached its peak. The Varkal flagship, a massive dreadnought, moved into firing range. It unleashed a torrent of plasma bolts that tore through smaller human ships, but the humans held their line. Using gravity disruptors, they pulled the dreadnought off balance. EMP drones disabled its shields. Then, a squadron of fighter pilots launched a daring attack, boarding the ship. Inside the flagship, intense fights broke out. Riker's team fought through narrow corridors, disabling weapons and capturing the bridge. As the flagship fell silent, the Varkal forces began to retreat. General Riker sent a clear message across all frequencies. "To those who seek to harm the innocent, Earth will protect those who cannot protect themselves. We are not just warriors, we are a shield. The galaxy is watching." The message was heard far beyond Veralia. In distant systems, colonies that had suffered under the Varkal began to rise. They sent messages of thanks, of hope. The silence the galaxy had felt for so long was broken. Earth's fury was an echo that would not be forgotten. Back on Veralia, the humans and colonists gathered to celebrate a hard-fought victory. Elder Torvin raised his voice. "You came when no one else would. You brought thunder to our silence. You saved us." Riker looked at the faces around him, alien and human alike. "This is only the beginning," he said. "We fight not just for today, but for every tomorrow. The stars above Virelia no longer held fear, they held promise. The sun rose slowly over the battered fields of Virelia. The battle was over, but the scars remained. Burned buildings, shattered trees, and silent streets told the story of a fierce fight. Yet amid the ruins, life was stirring. General Mason. Riker walked among the survivors. Colonists, both alien and human, greeted him with a mixture of relief and hope. Children smiled cautiously. Adults nodded with quiet gratitude. "You saved us," said Lena, the young alien girl who had watched the fight with wide eyes. "You came like thunder, and you stayed like the dawn." Riker smiled gently. "We came to protect. We will stay to rebuild." The humans worked quickly. Engineers repaired power grids, cleared debris, and restored water supplies. Medical teams treated the wounded, setting up mobile clinics. Colonists helped too. Velrin, the tall, feathered alien, organized volunteers to distribute food and supplies. "This place is home," Velrin said. "We will protect it." Kira Voss, Riker's second-in-command, stood nearby, watching the teamwork with satisfaction. "We're not just soldiers," she said. "We're builders too." A makeshift command center was set up in the heart of the colony. From there, Riker and his team planned the next steps. The Varkal threat was not gone. Intelligence reports showed that the Dominion was gathering forces elsewhere, ready to strike back. "We must prepare," Riker told his officers. "This victory is only the start." He turned to Elder Torvin, who had become a trusted ally. "We need to train the colonists," Riker said. "They must be able to defend themselves." Torvin nodded. "They will stand with you." Earth's ambassador arrived to broadcast a message across the stars. From the colony's central plaza, Riker spoke into the camera. "To every corner of the galaxy, you are not forgotten. Earth remembers your pain and your courage. We stand with you." The broadcast reached distant worlds. Refugees, slaves, and oppressed beings saw hope for the first time in years, but peace was fragile. A captured Varkal officer, held in a secure facility, glared at his captors. "You think this changes anything?" he sneered. "The Dominion will return. They will crush your rebellion." Riker looked at him calmly. "We will be ready." As days passed, more refugees arrived. They traveled toward the banner of Earth, seeking protection and a new start. The colony grew stronger. Defense grids were built. Training camps opened. Human soldiers taught tactics, strategy, and survival skills. Colonists learned quickly, eager to defend their homes. Lena trained alongside Velrin, her resolve firm. "We fight for our freedom," she said. "For our future." One evening, as the twin moons of Virelia rose, Riker stood with Kira on a hill overlooking the colony. "We've done well," Kira said. "But the fight is not over," Riker replied. "The galaxy will hear Earth's thunder again." They watched as flags, Earth's and Virelia's, flew side by side. A new alliance was born. The horizon of Virelia was alive with movement. Ships from Earth and the colony lifted off, patrolling the skies. Soldiers trained new recruits, both human and alien, in the art of war and defense. The colony was no longer just a refuge, it was a fortress. General Mason Riker stood on the command bridge of the HSS Lionfall, gazing at the stars. His mind raced with plans for the future. The Varkal Dominion was wounded, but far from defeated. They would strike again. That much was certain, but this time, Earth would be ready. News arrived that the Varkal fleet was gathering at the edge of known space. Thousands of ships, powerful and angry, prepared for retaliation. But they were no longer facing a silent, isolated colony. They faced the united force of humanity and its allies. Riker called a meeting with his officers. "We cannot wait for them to come to us," he said. "We strike first. We show the galaxy that Earth does not hesitate." Kira, Voss standing beside him, nodded firmly. "We have the advantage of surprise, let's use it." On Virelia, Lena and Velrin led a group of new soldiers through a training exercise. The recruits moved with confidence, their eyes bright with determination. "This is our home now," Lena said. We fight not just to survive, but to protect everything we love. The recruits cheered, their voices strong. As the human fleet prepared to jump into battle, Earth's ambassador broadcast another message across the stars, to every corner of the galaxy. Earth's thunder will not be silenced. Together we will protect the weak and stand against tyranny. Across distant worlds, oppressed peoples listened. The spark of rebellion was spreading. The night before the battle, Riker walked through the camp. Soldiers sat around fires, sharing stories and quiet laughter. Despite the looming war, hope filled the air. Kira joined him. You think we can win? She asked softly. Riker smiled. We don't just fight to win. We fight because it's right. That makes us unstoppable. When dawn broke, the human fleet jumped into enemy space. The Varkal fleet waited, but Earth's forces were faster and smarter. The battle was fierce. Ships danced through the void, firing beams of energy and launching missiles. On the ground, soldiers faced Varkal warriors in brutal combat. But humanity fought with heart, skill, and unity. After hours of battle, the Varkal fleet began to retreat. Their forces were broken, their will shattered. Riker watched the enemy ships flee. This is only the beginning, he said. The galaxy will know Earth's name. Back on Veralia, celebrations erupted. Flags flew high, and songs of victory filled the air. But Riker knew the fight for peace would continue. He looked at the stars once more. They thought no one would come, he whispered. But we came, and we will come again.